Good evening and welcome. I'd like to call this meeting to order. This meeting is a meeting of the Board of Education in public for the purpose of conducting the school district's business and is not to be considered a public community meeting. However, there is time provided for public participation during the meeting as indicated herein by Law 0165.1b. Should be noted that the Board of Education members received their agenda several days prior to the actual meeting. Thus, they have had considerable opportunity to study it and ask questions. The board will hold their next regular meeting on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024, right here in the Woodridge High School Library. Guests and participants are asked to silence their cell phones and put them away for the duration of the meeting. Roll call, please.
Mrs. Weber?
Here.
Mrs. Heffernan?
Here.
Mr. Carlo?
Here.
Mr. Leidig?
Here.
Mrs. Martin?
Here.
Please stand and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I do not have any public participation at this time, so we will move to the approval of the agenda. I will move.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan?
Aye.
Mrs. Weber?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
And at this time, I would like to turn the meeting over to Tammy.
I'd just like to have a moment of silence in memory and honor of Jim Massey. He passed away this last week, and he was a real big pillar of our community. He was always there watching the kids and his son and daughter-in-law, and I think another one work here. And Jim was a former school board member, and it's just a heck of a nice family. And I just really would like to recognize him. And even in his last days, he was, still joking around, always asking me when I'd go visit him. He'd want to know what's going on at the school board. Then he'd proceed to tell me what I should do. Yeah, he was real interested in that. Well, you know what you should do, So I said, okay. But yeah, just a heck of a nice man, and I will miss him dearly, as I know many other people that have relationships with him or Mary Lou or his kids, and just a really nice guy. So I'd just like to ask for a moment of silence, please.
Thank you.
Thanks. And now I'm going to tell you what he told me to do. No. Now you do that. Don't forget.
Get rid of me, right?
No.
That moves us to the superintendent reports.
All right, well, good evening. So I wanted to just talk about an email I sent out last week about the threat, the internet threat. So there was, it was a TikTok video, and then there was a tweet or X that was going around, and it was at a national level. And what it was a targeted assistance list. So students that qualify for title services, we have federal funding that provides intervention for those students. And that was actually the list that these people or computer or bot grabbed and then sent out. And anytime, even though there was no credibility to that, we investigate every threat that we receive thoroughly. And then we want to make sure that we share that information out so our families are aware of it. And then also commend the people that practice our see something, say something. So when they see it, we want people to know that no matter what it is, even if it's a strange feeling, we want to hear about it because we want to look into it. So that's really important here in the district. And so the people that did share that, we made sure they knew how important that was to all of us. And I wanted to check in too to see if you had any questions or thoughts on that or any other comments. No. Okay. I followed up with a couple of our families just about some of the safety protocols we have in place, so that was some good dialogue as a follow-up after that. And then totally shifting gears, I was going to share a little bit about our local report card. So that was just released on Friday. And we actually received a phone call. It was exciting, congratulating us on our report card. Like, oh, we haven't even started talking about it yet, and they already saw it. So they had, said congratulations. We had an overall rating of 4. So what does that really mean? It just means that we exceeded state standards, but there's a number of different components that go into it. The one component that we care the most about is the progress component. And if you look at it, we have a 4 this year and we had a 5 last year. And we're not comparing apples to apples. So this is where the report card is a struggle to explain because it has to do with growth. So last year when we received the 5, our kids may have started at a lower point and then we had those big gains, which is what gave us the 5. Well, our kids started more on track and then we still made the progress we're supposed to, but we got a 4 versus a 5. So we get penalized for not having our kids start off at that lower mark, which is one of the flaws with the report card, but that growth part is really what's important to us. It also has given us an opportunity to look at some things we can definitely do better as a team, right? So we're looking at our achievement, our gap closing data, what we can do to really move that needle. So that gives our teams an opportunity to look at our local measures. We use STAR as a progress monitoring tool. So our district leadership team's coming together tomorrow and we're going to talk about that data piece and come up with some goals. Is there banging? Can you hear that?
There's some kind of banging.
Yeah, we're getting a little feedback from the mics.
Buzz.
I don't know.
Buzz.
Tom said it was you. I said, I don't think so.
Is that?
No,
Am I really loud tonight? My dad's mute for me. Put it on the calendar.
he did not say
Back
that.
up from the mic. Oh. So our district leadership team will be diving into that. But then we also found too, it's only as good as the reporting we do. So we spent an entire year studying our graduation rates, and congratulations to our district, to our high school in particular. We had a 5. We haven't had a 5 in that area. So that just shows too, that heavy emphasis on it. We had over a 96% rate for 4-year graduation and over 97% for 5-year graduation, which is really awesome. That is worth celebrating. But then we found attendance. If you look at that piece, you're like, oh, we're trending in the wrong direction. We're more absent last year than we were the year before. But then we started looking at how we were reporting it. And we found maybe we're making a clerical error there, and we're counting kids as being absent for the whole day when maybe they were only gone for a period of the day or just a couple hours. So we're trying to refine that process. So I don't believe that's accurate. Our team doesn't believe it's accurate, but that's what's out there right now. So we are working to correct that for next year. But that is all I have on that front. Do you have any questions about the report card? Or anything? No? Okay, well then I'm going to invite Mr. Hosford up for our middle school recognition.
Can I have my students who are here come up with me? Come on up. So here we are about 5-ish weeks into school, meaning we're halfway done with the first quarter, and it feels like we never left. We've been back for some time, and I don't know. Do you guys feel like you had summer? A little bit? Somewhat? We appreciate the opportunity always to recognize our kids in front of a group, especially in front of our board members. This month we're recognizing a group of 8th graders. We have 3 here, 2 who could not make it tonight, but we're going to talk about them anyway. We like to recognize our students based on the character traits that were identified by the district several years ago. Those character traits are courageous, persistent, reflective, engaged, and curious. When they are curious, students are willing to take risks in their learning, embrace their mistakes, and learn from them. They are persistent. When things get tough, so do they. They are determined to reach their goals by staying focused, learning how to solve problems in different ways. They are reflective. They take their time to think things through, again, learning from their mistakes, and they look to understand what they learned and why it. They are engaged, meaning they are motivated to succeed. They take ownership of their learning by working independently and as a team. And last, they are curious. They seek to understand by asking questions, exploring their ideas, and making connections. This is Kyleon's spy. Kyleon's teacher said of him, "He is new to Woodridge and is a wonderful addition. He demonstrates curiosity by asking questions and providing examples, especially in science and ELA. He is also a member of Student Council and has been aptly named Councilman Spy. All right, switch with Samir. Let me have Samir over here. This is Samir Elkard. Samir is a hard worker across the board, showing that he cares about not only completing his work, but reflecting on how he can do it best to increase his knowledge and capabilities. Good work, Samir. And then the last one I have here is Jacob Smith. Jacob, come on over. Jacob is also new to Woodridge. He has demonstrated courage by quickly adapting to routine schedules and procedures. Despite the difficulty of starting at a new school, he has found immediate success in all of his classes. Not with us tonight, we have Saviana Taylor. Saviana is highly involved in extracurriculars, including volleyball in her classes. Her continuous engagement in both on and off the court set an excellent example of the Woodridge way. And Grace Huang shows persistence. When she needs help or clarification in math, she asks. She cares about her progress and attaining her goals and will not let a challenge stop her. So congratulations to our 8th grade students. Stay there.
I have a question for Kylian and Jacob. So you're new to Woodridge, so what have you found to be the thing you like the most so far about it? We're gonna have him shake. We'll come up and shake.
I just like how it takes time to learn it. Because my old school we used to do it faster and stuff, and I like it how we do it like a little slowly and take our time.
It's great.
I think the way that some of the things are taught to me, like it helps me to understand it better and grasp it and make more sense of it.
Thank you for sharing that. I know I put you on the spot in front of all these people. All right.
Well done.
We are going to have you meet with each of our board members, shake hands, and then it could be a photo op for our families too.
You can.
Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Congratulations. Good job. Keep up the great work and welcome.
Can you guys do a photo?
Right. Please and sorry.
Tom.
All right. Where are you, Susan?
We need to get a little closer. Everyone, I think you like each other.
Great job, guys.
And this time we usually take a 5-minute recess. So if our families, we know that you're busy and have other things going on. So if you wanted to leave now, we're totally okay with it. But if you want to stay, we'd love to have you too. But we'll take a 5-minute break now and you can do what you'd like to do.
At this point, we'll turn it over to Mr. Morehouse.
Okay, just a couple things to go over. So in August, we always receive our first semi-annual payment from casino revenue. So we received $62,000, which actually this year was a touch down from what we had been. So, you know, once COVID opened back up, the casino money kind of was really coming flush, but now it's going back down. Any of you that would like to go out to the casinos, please be my guest. It helps the school. One of the things that we do, we with the Ohio Schools Council, we pay into their natural gas program, and we pay a budget amount every month. And I just found out that our budgeted amount, when they reconciled it, we have an $8,000 credit going into this year for our natural gas. So that's always that doesn't always happen. So it's always a plus to have that. The other thing I just wanted to briefly kind of mentioned was ever since March 13th of 2020, our COVID ESSER funds are done. We've received over $5 million in that little over 4-year period, and we've done a lot of things with it. And unfortunately, some of these expenses are going to be coming to the general fund. It's really going to have a big bottom line effect on us. But one of the things, we've talked about a lot of things we paid staff members. Our Jefferson with the virtual academy, and a lot of the building subs we've had, the extra subs we've had in the buildings. But I also want to just kind of remind everyone some of the nice things we've been able to do with our COVID funds. More recently, obviously, the high school air conditioning. Between the rooftop units and getting them all air conditioning this year, we did that. As Mr. Morgan always calls it, the South Campus, the trailers we bought through the ESSER funds. Safety cameras on the buses, we were able to get that. So that was the first set of cameras we bought was from ESSER. Vinny was able to buy a floor scrubber, a really nice floor scrubber to help clean the buildings and so forth. Graphing calculators, we bought a number of graphing calculators throughout the district. Chromebooks, we were able to use them for some Chromebooks. So we had over $1.5 million in just these things I've mentioned using this money. So it really did benefit the district, and it's obviously helped our bottom line. Unfortunately, that is going away, but I just kind of want to remind everyone what some of the things we're able to do with ESSER over all these years. And I also would just like to mention, I know he's not listening at all, but Brian Nelson, who is basically second in command for Summit County, when these funds first started coming out, he was able to get, I worked with him when we got all schools in Summit County a bunch of money. And I can't remember, it was like $179,000 that came from Summit County through Mr. Nelson, and he's a Woodridge resident, a parent. So like I say, I know he's not listening, but I always like to give him a shout out because he did help us secure some additional funds. In fact, that is what we bought the floor scrubber with, those funds for Vinny. So anyway, I just kind of want to remind everyone some of the things we were able to do with that. That's all I have for you, Mr. President.
Good work there. All right. Can I get a motion to approve the treasurer's report?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Heffernan?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mr. Leidig?
Aye. Moves us on to the Board of Education reports, correspondence, and updates. Any committee reports at this point? It's still kind of new in the year.
I spent 4 days last week down in the Cincinnati area with 2 other school districts doing some of the legislative community engagement work. One of them is a new district that's coming on board, so very productive and making some progress there.
Okay.
Nice.
A lot of interest in the vouchers
Yeah.
across the state.
Coming up on, what, November 4th?
Yeah.
Appreciate that. Thank you very much. Brings us to 6, consent resolution 1 through 7. Get a motion, please.
I'll move. I'll second.
Roll call.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mr. Leidig?
Aye. 7, personnel. Certificated staff 1 through 3. I will move.
I'll second.
Discussion.
The first one is just the approval of our LPDC committee. So this is the group that approves coursework that teachers and administrators are doing to renew their licensure. The second is for our resident educator committee, and they support the mentoring program for our new teachers. And then the third is an annual resolution, and these are staff members that have routine meetings outside of the contracted day. It could be for evaluation, Title I family engagement, or department meeting.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Brings us to be classified staff 1 through 3. Get a motion, please.
I'll move.
A second.
Discussion.
There's always a lot of action in this section.
Oh, yeah.
And so I know I shared most of it in my report, but I wanted to just highlight a couple items. First, we're excited to have Melinda Milush back. So she was a paraprofessional for us, and now she's coming back home. So
Good.
happy to welcome her back there. And then there's 3 items, which we don't typically have for one staff member. So Sally Howe originally was hired to be a transportation attendant, and she was AM PM, and then she had an interest for driving for us. So we were really excited about that. So Rob made it, supported her through that process. She passed her CDL, and then we needed her to sub right away. So that's why there's a recommendation to approve her to sub. And while that was going on, we had a float position open up. So then that's why there's a resignation for that transportation attendant position. And then the rest are just based on the bumping that happens when people leave and new positions open up.
Domino effect.
Mm-hmm.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan,
Aye.
Mr. Lydic?
Aye. 2C, supplemental contracts 1 and 2. I will move.
I'll second.
Oh, sorry. Oh, got ahead. Got really excited. Sorry.
Second.
Yeah.
Discussion.
All right, ready. Our Washington, D.C. trip, so our students that weren't able to do it in 8th grade because of COVID, this is the second of 3 years. So next year will be the last year, and so all of the 8th graders would have had an opportunity to go in high school. And then, that's the only one. And then Teresa to be a facilities manager this fall. And then we're excited for a positive softball experience.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Lydic?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan,
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Recommendations. A, approve swimming individual sport. I will move.
Second.
Discussion?
So this is something we do each year. Since we don't offer it, we partner with Stowe. They volunteer to coach our students that want to participate in that sport.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Lydic?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan,
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye. Not moving.
It happens.
B, game helpers. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
This is a list of people that help us throughout the season.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Heffernan,
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mr. Lydic?
Aye. C, Educational Service Center of Medina County Service Agreement 2024-2025 school year. Get a motion, please?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
So this isn't a new student placement. The placement that we had recommended last month, or I'm sorry, in August last month, they weren't able to provide services. So that is null and void, that contract, and so we were able to find another placement option for that student.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan,
Aye.
Mr. Lydic?
Aye. Brings us to D, Summit Christian School, Woodridge Local School District, LEA Employment Services Auxiliary Agreement with Summit Educational Service Center, 2024-2025 school year. Get a motion, please?
I'll move.
I'll second. Discussion?
So, the auxiliary funds that we have for Summer Christian School, again, this is not our general fund, it's the money they get from the state to help with direct instruction. This is for a couple tutors that the Summit ESC places down there, and we pay for the service through the auxiliary funds here. But I just always want to make it, even though it's a private school, this money does not touch our general fund. It is their legal funds.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Mr. Lydic?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan,
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Brings us to 9, Finance. A, purchase orders. Get a motion, please?
I'll move.
I'll second.
Discussion?
So there's a company called K Company that handles our HVAC and all that over at the elementary school, and they were the original designer. We built the building, and they do ongoing maintenance, and it's almost like a proprietary that they have in there. So there was an invoice last fall. We had a PO for it, but the invoice never made it to us, and then there were some other upgrades they were doing throughout the spring. I thought we'd taken care of it. We weren't getting any more bills. My haste to get the year closed out, my fault, and I closed them out and then realized there's $13,000 of bills coming to us. So I apologize, but I would appreciate if the board would approve this for me.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Heffernan,
Aye.
Mrs. Glover,
Do we all get to walk by and maybe pie you or something in the face?
I can't control anything that you do.
I'm just kidding. We appreciate you very much. Aye.
Mr. Carlo? Aye. Mr. Leidig?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Hi.
All right, brings us to B, return of advances. I will move.
I'll second.
Discussion.
So, back on our June 28th meeting, these were the advances you authorized me to do to get all the grant funds up to snuff, so they were not in the negative anymore until we got the money from ODE. We're now ready to file the final expenditure reports so that it's clear I need to return the money back, so that's why I'm just submitting your approval for this.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Brings us to C, permanent appropriations. Can I get a motion, please?
I'll move.
Second.
Discussion?
So this is our annual measure for appropriations. They have to be adopted by the board by September 30th. There's really, I'm trying to think of any new funds in there that we had this year. The other state grant, that is for our psych intern grant that we received from the state. The other federal grants listed there is $0, and the reason that is because these amounts listed don't include carryover appropriations. We had carryover appropriations out of one of these grants for the safety grants, and so since they were still encumbered, I have to include them on there, even though there's no new appropriations coming as of right now. Now, there could be later, but as of right now, there's nothing else. And I did rename the 014 funds. They're no longer called Rotary funds. I want to make sure that there's no discrepancy in there with the Northampton Cuyahoga Valley Rotary. Even though the fund still is a special Rotary, the category is now called Internal Service Funds.
Roll call, please.
Mrs. Heffernan?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mr. Leidig?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
And we have no public participation at this point. And I will move to adjourn.
I'll second.
Roll call, please.
Mr. Leidig?
Aye.
Mrs. Heffernan?
Aye.
Mrs. Glover?
Aye.
Mr. Carlo?
Aye.
Mrs. Martin?
Aye.
6:30.
Very small.